So when you run the .NET tool over here and you run the migration command and you add a migration code, add city. So for example, over here, what we are doing is we're adding a new column to the backend database called city. What actually happens and how does Entity Framework .NET tool applies this migration? So let's have a look. So when you run this command, it's going to start a build over here and then it says build succeeded. Now, if we have a look at our folder here, so migration folder, and have a look at the add city migration file ending with .cs, not the designer one, the add city one first. So this is the main file that is probably of interest to you. So within this file, there's an op method here. And what this does is it's used to add the city column. So you can see the add column of type string and the name of the column will be city. Table that it's going into is students, and this is the data type. And you can see we've got the nullable. This is because in the code we made the data type nullable. And then you can see that another method called down. And what this down method does is it removes or drops a column, a code city, it's in the table called student. So this is self-explanatory, and this is the main file that it generates. And then you can see we've got the designer. This is a helper file used by Entity Framework, and you can see it mentions the columns that are not part of the migration, but you can see ID column is there, and it's half of type int. We've got the age column, and then we've got the city column over here. So you don't really need to modify this file. If you remember when we did our initial migration, what we did was we went into the down and the up methods and we cleared them out, because what we did was we created the database before we wrote the code. So the database was already there, so we didn't want Entity Framework to recreate it. So we came in here and created an empty migration. So we let Entity Framework generate the code like this, but we deleted everything from this method. Just as, for example, we can turn the add city into an empty migration by simply going in here and deleting everything from here and from the down method as well. So what this will do is it will apply the migration without recreating the tables that already exist. So that's what we did with the initial migration. So if we have a look at initial, so that's initial create design. You can see here, it's got the following columns is identified. I would only recommend deleting the contents of up and down methods only for the initial migration. Otherwise, you may end up with issues with the designer file. So I would only recommend it for the initial create and not for a second migration, such as add city.